KSW.
Our next guest is unfortunately no longer a Seahawk, as we love watching him at Quest Field. He's off to the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a bummer, but at least he's not going back to the team he started with.
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. Really, 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 really suck. The Bears still suck.
I love it that anytime we have an opportunity to play that song.
The Bears still suck.
Please welcome to the show, Bobby Engram. There you go. Yeah!
It's actually the first time I heard that song.
The Bears still suck.
That's from like the 80s. We pulled that down.
Who made that? Somebody in Green Bay or what?
Probably. I think it was, actually.
Probably still suck.
Sounds like a little Green Bay
No
polka.
doubt
band.
about it. We know the Vikings didn't do it because they're too busy taking cruises, so I think it was probably somebody in Green Bay.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's
Just saying.
wow.
The Bears still suck.
You guys probably got some stuff in the vault there, man. That's pretty catchy tune.
Pretty catchy, too. I don't know. Why did we even... Oh, because we were playing the Bears. Yeah, we played the Bears in the... what was that, 3 years ago?
It was the year after the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
No, we lost in Chicago.
Yeah, we should have had that one.
Yeah.
That was after we beat Dallas in that crazy game, where Romo, the ball slipped out of his hand, and therefore we won because of that.
Yeah, they kicked a field goal to win it.
Yeah.
We had a chance to seal that deal, too. It's unfortunate. We should have won that game.
The Bears still suck.
Yeah.
And that would have meant what? That we... Because the way things played out, didn't that mean that we would have had the...
We would have went to New Orleans. We would have went down to New Orleans that year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
that was last year that we would have, or the year before that, we would have had an NFC championship if something would have happened. Because the Giants.
Think about it, man. We had a 3-year run there where we legitimately could have went to the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of plays here and there. But, I mean, that's the story of every NFL game, especially in the playoffs. But, making those plays and not making those plays are the difference in advancing.
And that's why football is a great game, because really every game does mean something. You take a look at this past season, you look at the New England Patriots, who really didn't get into the playoffs with a great record that they had, but the way football is, man, it's just like that one game, that one something really can cost you no matter what you think it should be.
Nah, you're right, man. One of the things that always sticks with me is what old Joe Pa used to say back at Penn State. You know, it's a game of inches. And he used that to stress the fact that you had to do everything you could, man, to get that extra yard or to get that third down and to get that touchdown, because you never knew what was going to happen on that next possession.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. And Bobby, it's tough because you're a great guy, and sometimes I feel like we're the kiss of death. Every time we have a guy on the show, it seems like a few months later the guy's going to another team
Or getting drunk and retiring on the air.
Well, there is that. Yeah, we had that with our buddy Grant Wistrom. Who just made it.
He did it. He was hammered.
Hall of Famer.
That's
He's a Hall of Famer now. How about our boy Grant Wistrom? Your former teammate made it into the College Football Hall of Fame. How about that?
Yeah. That's a big honor, man. Good. Congratulations, Grant.
They were good back then.
They were great. I wish we would have had a chance to play them, but I heard you guys early on the drive down. I kind of
the playoff system prevented that from happening for you guys.
Absolutely. They they had I guess they had the AP poll and the coaches or whatever. They had the two different polls. And normally when you have two undefeated teams, it was always a split. So that was a bit of a sore subject with me, because the powers that be gave the national championship to Nebraska, and it should have, at the very least, been a split. We should have got one, and they should have got one.
Yeah, because you played at Penn State for Joe Paterno, and you guys were undefeated. In what year was that, 94?
94, went out to the Rose Bowl, beat a good Oregon team. They had a great defense that year. Gang Green, they had this little motto, Gang Green.
Yeah.
But, we had a tremendous team, man. A lot of talent on that team. Kajana Carter, Kerry Collins, Kyle Brady. I think in 2 years, man, we had over like 20 guys get drafted on the offensive side of football for that team. So just a tremendous collection of talent.
I remember those days, man. You guys were good. That's weird. See, so you're probably in favor of some sort of playoff in college football.
Not just, obviously for what happened to me personally, but I just think, why wouldn't you want the game to be decided on the field? To me, it just makes sense.
It totally makes sense. I felt that way, too, about, we've had this conversation on the show before. I hate when teams who are tied, it goes based on statistics rather than on the field. It's like I brought up the Patriots. Same thing with anybody. If you play well enough to be tied with another team where it's close enough where you go, look, shouldn't there be another game to decide it on the field rather than going, well, because you only scored 5 points against this team and they scored 10 points, therefore you're both have the same record, but these guys don't get to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
The whole season is so short, and anything can happen. It should be decided on the field.
I agree, because how do you really weigh that? What if your running back was sick that day and he didn't rush for 200 yards? You only rushed for 150. It's just so many X factors.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Bobby, because I've had fights with certain members of the show. It's nice to hear a player actually give his input as to why it should be decided on the field.
Absolutely, because then there's no question. And they can find a way to set up, use the current bowl system, use the top bowls, whatever, the Cotton Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Citrus Bowl, whatever the top bowls are now. Use the top 6 or 8 bowls or 10 or 12 bowls and figure out a way to set that up into a playoff system where it takes the month of December and then these kids finish at the beginning of January.
Yeah, and you can't go by statistics all the time or the strength of a division. You take a look just what happened in hockey. The San Jose Sharks had the best record out of anybody in the HL and got their asses kicked in the first round.
Yeah, well, just look at the NFL. Actually, the year we went to the Super Bowl and played the Steelers, they were a wild card.
Yep.
And they made it and won the Super Bowl. So, anything can happen.
They had a little help, too, didn't they, Bobby?
Yeah. And then somebody did it the year after them. But, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother show.
That is a whole other
but
wasn't it the Giants, too, when they made the run?
The Giants. Yeah, my point is, you have a college playoff system and you don't know what happens. This team may have lost 2 games during the regular college season and they may just catch fire in the playoffs and go all the way. So it's the same scenario. You don't know until you get into that playoffs. And saying that's why you play the game.
And frankly, you take a look at the perfect example is that Giants-Patriots Super Bowl.
Right.
Man, everybody was handing that game to the Patriots.
Exactly.
And if we had to use statistics and all that stuff to decide that, no way would anybody have given the Giants anything. The Giants, if those 2 teams had the same statistics and they were both tied in the same division to go to the playoffs, and only one could go from that division, the Giants would never been in. As it turns out, the Giants, beyond statistics, were the better team that year.
Giants win.
That's why you play the game.
Exactly. Even last year with the Arizona Cardinals, they were probably considered the weakest team in the playoffs just because, look at what they do. They came out of a weak division in, the NFC West, let's be honest.
Semi-weak.
All the talking heads are saying, look at how weak this division is. They're for sure going to be bumped out in the first round. And they went on and made it to the Super Bowl. Should have probably won that Super Bowl too, but Worthlessberger did something he does often. Fantastic. God,
that was actually a great game.
That was a great game.
Yeah,
two great Super Bowls in a row. That's some good business right there.
Yeah. I like it, man. I like it. That's why I'm still playing. I love this game.
And so, and Bobby, unfortunately, of course, you're not a Seahawk anymore. But luckily for us, you're not in our conference. You're really not in our conference, which is great. It's I look at Josh Brown was our buddy, but the fact is, we got to not only in our conference, in our division. So we got to look at his ugly mug every time he comes back. At least with you, it's like, all right, you're not going to cause us too much pain over there playing for the AFC, so we can have a little bit more love for you, I think.
I appreciate it, man. I know you guys got to stay loyal to the home team, and I got some good friends on the team still. I keep in touch with those guys, text messages, and we talk and all of that. Obviously, they've been tremendous supporters of the foundation, and I appreciate that. So I wish them well. It was a great run, man, for me. 8 years. Division championships and Super Bowl appearances and the whole 9 yards.
So 8 years. I can't believe it was that much time.
It went by fast, man, but I enjoyed every minute of it. The ups, the downs, the trials, the tribulations, and ultimately, a lot of triumphs. But, comes time for change and time to move on. So, but I'll be back, man, in the Seattle area. It holds a special place in my heart. My foundation's here. I have a business here, and I'll be back quite often after my season with the Chiefs, which I'm looking forward to that, man. It's been a pretty seamless transition for me personally.
Well, of course, you got this celebrity softball game, which you're going to be doing, and it's happening at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, and Saturday, June 13th, so plenty of time for you to make plans for this, and you can go to BobbyEngramFoundation.org to get more information about this. We also have a banner up on our page you can just click on and get info.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. We really suck. Yes, the Bears still suck.